How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Dark Souls, where today we have another bit of a one-off video where we're going to explore exactly how the Manus Catalyst works. I have not really seen any detailed information on what the actual strength scaling of the Manus Catalyst is, and being the lover of numbers that I am, I decided to take it upon myself and determine what these scaling values are. So you may or may not know, we'll go over a couple of terms real quick. In Dark Souls, every spell, miracle, and pyromancy has an associated value, which I'm going to call a spell motion value, or SMV, that determines the attack damage of the spell itself. This spell motion value is multiplied by the magic adjust of your catalyst, talisman, or pyromancy flame, and then it's put through the damage calculator, and you get a final damage output. I'll put a couple of examples on screen here. The Soul Arrow has a spell motion value of 110, and a Lightning Spear has a spell motion value of 270. And when facing the Stray Demon in New Game Plus, we get damage outputs of 125 and 379 respectively. The Dark or Abyssal spells, however, as well as the Black Flame Pyromancy, are unique in the fact that they actually have split damage. Dark Orb, which is the main spell that I used for tests, has a split damage spell motion value of 150 for physical damage, which is in that pink hue, and 170 for magic damage, which is in that blue hue. I'm doing this to hopefully make it stand out a little bit better, as I'm trying to improve some of the readability of my tables that I post in these data explanation videos. Anywho, if we go through and test these spells on the Stray Demon, we get some values, which I'll show the video real quick, and then I'll talk about those. So I did this test with 3 different levels of intelligence, with 2 different spell catalysts, one being the sorcerers and then the other, of course, being the Manus Catalyst. So for Dark Orb, with 16 intelligence, we get a damage of 113. At 25 intelligence, we get a damage of 191. And at 50 intelligence, we get a damage of 283 with the Sorcerer's Catalyst. When we switch over to the Manus Catalyst, these improve, as are expected, as it has a higher spell buff. For 16 intelligence, we get a damage output of 129. For 25 intelligence, 241. And for 50 intelligence, we get a damage value of 283. So because we know what the damage calculation formula is for magic damage against the Stray Demon, we're able to back calculate exactly how much physical damage Dark Orb is doing whenever we cast a spell with either of our catalysts. Put these numbers here on screen. The really important one that you should focus on is the physical damage from Dark Orb and the physical damage when using Manus' Catalyst. For the Sorcerer's Catalyst, it is 27 across the board, and for the Manus Catalyst, it is 33 across the board. That's with 14th strength. Now, knowing that there is some hidden strength scaling with the Manus Catalyst, I decided to go to the next level and test what our damage output is at various different levels of strength and 50 intelligence, and let's throw those on screen right now. So for the strength test, I ran it with, again, an intelligence level of 50, which gives the Manus Catalyst a magic adjust stat of 275, and then I did strength values of 16, 25, and 40, which return the following results. It's important to note here that the spell damage that we showed on the last table with 14 strength is the exact same as it is with 16 strength. This appears to be the case for strength of 14, 15, and 16, but the physical damage output is a bit odd in the way it works. So after all of my number crunching, here are the results and the formulas that I have derived for additional physical output based on the strength level of your character when using the Manus Catalyst. There's actually a 5th tier whenever you have 13 strength or lower. That gives you the X indicator on your weapon because the Manus Catalyst requires 14 strength to use. This actually does still add a little bit of physical damage. It is 3 physical damage from 1 all the way up to 11, and then for 12 I believe it's 8, and 13 it is 30, but these are not important. What is important is really the first 2 tiers from 14 to 23 strength. There you see the formula on screen. You take the physical damage of the spell and multiply it by the following equation: physical damage times 1.2 plus 0.1 times strength minus 15. Second tier is very similar. You take the physical damage of the spell multiplied by 2 plus 0.15 times your strength minus 23, and then you have your third and fourth tiers, which I also have the percent damage increases between these tiers of strength. And as you can see, really the first 2 are the ones that you should be concerned about if your focus is using the Manus Catalyst for your build. You should really stop around 30 strength, as going beyond that really doesn't add too much damage output to your abyssal sorceries, and instead you should really focus on hitting that soft cap of 50 intelligence. I do also have the physical damage of each spell there at the bottom. For Dark Bead it is 12, Pursuers it is 17, and Dark Orb it is 27. Again, this value you would just substitute it for that physical variable that I have in these equations. And keep in mind that the Dark Bead spell does 7 different hits, and Pursuers does 5. So even though Dark Orb has the superior physical base damage, it is always going to be outperformed by both Dark Bead and Pursuers. Hopefully this was informative. It was a interesting challenge to figure this math out. I can't really find much in the parameters, and if you notice anything that is wrong in these formulas, feel free to let me know. I do want to point out that these formulas do slightly underestimate the amount of damage that Dark Orb does and slightly overestimates Dark Bead and Pursuers, but it seems to be less than 2%. So thank you so much for watching. Again, be on the lookout for future damage mechanic videos and hopefully some upcoming challenge runs here in the next couple of weeks. Until then, thanks for all the support recently, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.